So we're here at Belaire High School with Coach Byron doing our Week 1 Coaches Corner. So we're just going to get a little bit of the team information to start out since it's Week 1, and then get a little bit into what we're expecting from the 2022 season. Last year you made the playoffs for the first time in multiple years. You also had 3 players go on to play football on the next level, with Nicholas Jeter at Grambling State, Noah James and Avante Givens both at Louisiana Christian. What's something that changed within your program that you can attribute to the new success for the Bengals?
Internally, from our guys being able to see that it is possible, that you don't have to go to another school or a specific school to be able to play college ball, that those opportunities are now at Belaire High School. That's the biggest takeaway. I think the reputation of our football program is growing and moving in a progressive direction, where a lot of attention is starting to come to this football team and this football program year after year. So I think those are the 2 takeaways, internally and externally.
Are there any traits or mentalities that you emphasize within your program?
Being coachable is the number one thing. I believe in modeling. When you demonstrate what your expectations are, there's no lapse. There's no reason that every young man can't understand what your expectations are. So teaching them to be coachable and letting them know the importance of it, and letting them know, as a coach, all of us coaches are gonna coach you hard to push you to perfection. And once they understand that, it's an easier process.
For sure. What have you learned or adapted in your 4th season serving as the head coach at Belaire?
That year after year, every team is different. It doesn't matter if they have the same players. Each year you need to be able to try and identify what type of team you have. And I'm not just speaking on performance on the field, but just approach to work ethic, to preparation, to holding each other accountable. Year to year, it's going to always be different. So my adaptation has been to not focus on what we did the year before. Of course, you want to build off of that, but really evaluate what type of team I have in my locker room and try and identify who they are, so I know how to best serve them and lead them.
So obviously adaptation year to year is a big deal. Is there anything coming into 2022 that you see being different as opposed to last year, or anything that you're going to adapt, whether it be on the field or fundamentally?
Well, we're not that experienced. So a lot of things as coaches we may expect our kids to know, they don't know. And they don't have the playing experience to know how to do certain things. So when we approach practice, we have to make sure that we're teaching at a level where they can understand and comprehend what's going on, and then go execute. That's the biggest takeaway from last year to this year. Last year, I had 16 seniors that were also juniors when I first got here, so they learned my expectations. And when they came their senior year, their work ethic was great, preparation, watching film, all that stuff was at a high level. Now I'm dealing with an immature group of young men that just don't fully understand why it's important to do the things that we're trying to teach them. So just working on that day by day. Of course, now that the season is here, the guys are excited and they want to put in the work. But if you don't have a good off season, you're not going to really have a good team.
Have you achieved any milestones or goals that you set when you got the job at Belaire?
Yeah, well, my individual goal as a coach coming in, I expected to make the playoffs by year 3 and compete for a district championship. In year 1, we made the playoffs. In year 2, we played in the district championship. So I think I exceeded my personal goals. And now, we want to take where we are and continue to build off of that.
Awesome. So last weekend you played in the Jamboree. Could you give me just a quick recap of how that went?
We didn't play bad, but we didn't play as good as I would have liked. Of course, it is the beginning of the season. We have a young freshman quarterback. He doesn't have much experience. A lot of things that I'm teaching him, he is comprehending, but it's nothing like playing experience. So to play against a 5A opponent, to play against one of the best running backs in the country, not just the state, I'm proud that we were able to play well defensively. We caused 2 turnovers. When we punted the ball, they muffed 2 of the punts. We didn't get on them. So those are teachable moments. Offensively, we started to run the ball well, but time just wasn't on our side. And then we had a turnover that was self-inflicted that gave them a touchdown. So I'm proud to say they only scored 1 touchdown and we gave them another one. So that's a good takeaway, and, those are teachable moments.
For sure. What are some of your goals coming into the 2022 season? Obviously, we got week 1 coming up this Friday at Live Oak. What are some of your goals coming into the year?
Every year, my goal is to compete for a district championship. That's the goal at the beginning of the season. We echo that amongst our locker room, in the weight room, and going into this season, that's my expectation. We have a 9-team district. It's challenging probably for every team in the district because you don't really get to pick favorable non-district opponents. So now we're in a position where we play Live Oak and then we go straight into district. I'm excited about that. I'm not a complainer. So we have to make the adjustment and really compete for a district championship. Also, I want to have continuity of having quality athletes. I believe what we did last season and what we're going to do this season is going to help for us to not have a drop off and continue to have quality student athletes coming into this program.
What are you most excited about coming into your 4th season as head coach?
I am most excited about having the opportunity to do what I love. I love teaching. I love mentorship. And the fact that my principal has a strong belief in me, those are all motivating factors. So I'm really excited about the opportunity for me to still be able to coach the game I love, the game I can still play. And I don't take it for granted at all. I may not be the coach at Belaire forever, but for now, that's all I can see. And I'm very grateful.
Every team faces adversity in one way or another. What's something that your team's facing right now, and how do you guys plan on overcoming it?
Accountability and leadership. We don't know how to lead. We got kids that want to be leaders, but they don't quite understand the right way to do that. Another thing has nothing to do with football. It's how we're behaving ourselves in the school. My expectation is for my football players to be ambassadors of what the school-wide expectations are. I want them to understand that playing football is a privilege, and of course it's extracurricular. So with you having that privilege and that opportunity, you can't be like everybody else. So I want us to be able to separate ourselves from what other students around the school are doing and just embrace the challenge of a pressure being applied to you. That's an easy task, but that's also my job as well as my coaching staff. And as challenging as it may be, we're going to see that through.
So obviously leadership is something that you're looking for on your team. Who are some of those players that you see stepping up into a leadership role and kind of taking the team under their wing?
Instantly, I've seen Cameron Johnson be a soul leader. It's not something that he's come and tell me. He's not trying to show off. It's who he wants to be. I think he's identified this is his senior year. He doesn't get to play next year if he doesn't get the opportunity to play college, and he's fully embracing that. He's present. He's on time. He's holding his teammates accountable, but he can't do it by himself. Jayden Butler is another one that's leading the way. I'm expecting more out of him. He was our best defensive player last year, so I expect nothing less this year. And on offense, I'm looking for a leader, to be honest. Kedrick McDaniels, junior offense and defensive lineman, he is trying, and I applaud that, but I'm looking for leadership on the offensive side of the ball as well. So it's early in the season, and we still have time to nurture and develop that.
What are some of the names that we should know on the field for this upcoming Belaire team?
Javion Morgan. Javion Morgan is an interesting personality. He's very passionate. He's very selfless. And he doesn't realize how good he is or how good he can be. Mental toughness is something that I'm trying to nurture and develop within him, but he is an all-around player that can play pretty much any position on the field. He is our starting running back, so look out for his name. Of course, Cameron Johnson, he can play any position on the field, and he's willing to. He's very tough, hard-nosed. If it's a one-on-one ball, he's going to win that matchup pretty much every time. Christian Hill, number 55, he's an offensive tackle, defensive lineman. He's very, very strong. He's very big, and he has a tremendous upside. LaCorian Compton is probably our best all-around athlete. I have high expectations for him. And Kendrick Miles. Kendrick Miles, he's very tough. He has a high football IQ. He's a ball hawk. I'm just trying to get him to understand what it takes to be a coachable player. You know, that now that we're on the brink of the season, it's not about what you do from an individual standpoint. It's about how well you can rally your team around you and you be the spark to get the team going.
Are there any position groups on the team that stand out as particularly strong to you?
Our offensive line is averaging about 6'1", 6'2", about 270, 280 pounds on average. They're the most experienced group. They're very strong, and hands down, with them having the most experience, they stand out the most.
So obviously you have a freshman quarterback right now, but are there any other young players or newcomers that you expect to contribute this season?
Monir Johnson. He's a very quiet, humble kid. In practice, he's got all the coaches' attention and even got the respect of the upperclassmen. Because we have 5, maybe 6 seniors, I'm willing to put young guys on the field and allow them to gain the experience so we can have that continuity. He is a young guy that's already in the rotation. As he gets opportunities, you know, I hope he makes them count, but he definitely is the one that stands out the most. If it was any other, I would say Caleb Joseph. He's a 10th grader. Plays running back. He plays defensive back and linebacker. I don't look at him as a 10th grader. That's why I'm calling his name out. But Caleb Joseph is somebody that, you know, didn't realize how important he was to the team. You know, I've emphasized that in the offseason. He's responded very well, and I expect him to be great this year and years to come.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have for week 1 of Coach's Corner with Belaire's Coach Byron Wade. Just like to say thank you, and we'll be back next week for week 2 to recap this Friday at Live Oak and see what we got moving forward.
All right, thanks, Luke.